Hello, everybody. Welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. It is challenge number 3 over at the Counterfeit Kit challenge, and challenge number 3 is always a sketch, and this is the one that was chosen this time. So I am going to use this sketch in terms of its mood, which happens to be childlike and fun, and I'm going to mix up the design just a little bit. So let's dive in. All right, I've popped that sketch up in the corner for you, and I've chosen these photos based on the feel of the sketch, which is not a way I generally use the sketch. Normally, I use it for the design elements, positions and sizes and things like that, but not for the actual iconography and things that you see on the sketch, but this time I'm going for it. Now, I was a little worried that it wouldn't work for my counterfeit kit because it's based on Maggie Holmes, and I was thinking, what have I got in there that's childlike and fun? And I realized I have plenty in there. I had kind of forgotten about this festive polka dot paper and this really colorful kind of mixed media paper, and there's plenty of fun things in here. So I'm going to give all of this stuff a go. At first, I think I'm going to use the sketch pretty close to what it is designed like, but my photos are bigger than what's in the sketch, so I'm going to need some different spacing for getting all my elements on there, and my title is very long, so that's not going to fit, especially with my photos being bigger. I need more room, so I'm going to stack my photos instead of putting them side by side, and that will lead to some of the other small changes that I'm going to make to this design. It's nothing huge, but it's going to be influenced by these photos being stacked. All right, I am trying to size everything up, and because I decided my title was going to be pretty long, I needed to form that first before I can get everything cut down to the right size. So you can see me there using the title specifically to figure out how much room I need to cut that photo mat down and still have plenty of the background fun polka dots showing off. I thought I was going to use this heart paper as the basis of this layout, but then when I found that polka dot, I was instantly, that's the right paper. But I still want to incorporate these hearts, so I'm going to use them as that vertical strip that's on the sketch that is more of a scallop strip, and I'm going to build up that strip even more. I'm going to use this piece of ruffly ribbon that I created earlier in the month, and if you haven't seen my video where I'm creating several elements and embellishments with inexpensive crepe paper streamers, then you should go check that out because it is super cheap, easy embellishments that you can DIY. All right, I have got this leftover chipboard from my Lawn Fawn kit, and I've popped out the pieces, and I'm going to use this chipboard as a layering dimension element instead of foam, and I'm trying to do that more and more, although I must admit that I like the ease of foam. I would like to not only reuse elements, but use more biodegradable elements, which chipboard is versus foam. So anyway, that's just my thing. I did pull out these two little pockets of embellishments from my stash because I wanted this title to be about, the best babysitter ever, which is how my daughter is viewed by this lovely little kid. And she adores her and loves it when she is able to babysit. So they have a good time together. And I want this layout to capture those feelings, the fun, fanciful, whimsical elements of just childhood. And so that is why I've chosen all these things. And this sketch definitely fit well with my photos, with that childlike vibe going on. And it's got some cute animals on there, some cute icons on there. So I'm going to pull all of that feeling into this layout. Now, that best word that I chose out of one of my little embellishment packs doesn't fit the style as well. So I'm going to change it up. I have this piece of scratch plastic over the top of it that I'm testing out this idea with, using my markers over the top of that plastic. Now, it's not the best way to test that, as the plastic will kind of resist the water properties of the marker ink and bead up a little bit, but it gives me a way to see how the colors are going to overlap and interact. And I decide I like it because I'm pulling that idea from those chipboard stickers, which are a Vicky Boutin alphabet set, and it's got kind of that mixed media offset typeset feel to it. So here is my rendition of that with a pre-made embellishment, changing it up to fit the style a little bit better. And it's not perfect, but I like it well enough and it's better than it was. So I'm going to go with that. And what I am having fun with on this layout is that I would never know what to do with these peacocks and this kind of leopard, and I put a zebra on here, and those are elements that I just wouldn't ordinarily use on a layout. I'm pretty typically a very literal embellisher, which means if my story is about zoo animals, then yes, I would use those things on my layout, which it's a little inflexible. I know it is. I know this about myself. And so I'm trying to kind of bust out of my own little comfort zone just a bit, and this layout is helping me do that. So I am going to take all these animals in that playful realm, and even though they're having ice cream at Dairy Queen, which has nothing to do with any of these animals, I'm going to go ahead and use them on this layout and bring in just the fun childhood vibe here. I am also going to do a whole bunch of hearts. I have some of these wood veneer buttons, and this one's really cute because it has a little smiley face on it. And again, I would never know what to do with that button otherwise, and so here's a great use for it. I'm happy when I've got some things figured out. I also have an extra little tag down there that I pulled out of my Word stash supplies, and it happens to have some ruffled crepe ribbon on it also, and so that is going to work here. And I'm just mixing up my embellishment, so instead of having the classic triangle of visual elements, I am doing rows across the top, including my title, and then a whole row of embellishments across the bottom. I am adding some little ticket icons because that was part of the sketch, and I like that, and I had some in my kit, so that's working out. And so really the biggest changes I made to the sketch are the stacking of my photos and turning my embellishment cluster into big rows instead of that visual triangle. All right, I am going to add this last piece here. I think that's the last piece I add in. Maybe there's one more. And then off screen, I will go ahead and glue everything down and make sure it's all secure. And coming back with all of that done, I am going to add some stamping for my journaling, because if I don't have some straight lines, my journaling will go very crooked. Maybe you're a lot like me. And I've been using this journaling stamp set forever. And in fact, it is permanently stored on that stamping block. And that is just about the only journaling stamping block that I use anymore. I have several of them, and this is just my fave. I have no idea where it even came from to begin with. But there you go. I've got my favorite, and it stays there. All right, that wraps up this layout with my journaling on there. And this was a fun one for me because I don't do this kind of fun and playful layout super often, and I was inspired by that sketch to do so. So if you want to play along with us over at the challenge, go ahead and follow the links down below, and I will see you next week for more crafty videos. Until then, have an artful day.